If you have a desire to become a better version of your current self, then this podcast is for you. I share with you helpful thoughts, tips, and stories surrounding fitness and self-improvement which you can apply to your life today. So for those of you that want to take control of your life, to learn, to grow, to become that which you desire most, I am your host, Connor Malone, and this is the pursuit of constant improvement. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about a growth mindset and how that is something that you can create in your own life to help you with your pursuit of improvement and inevitably improve the quality of your life. So first of all, you might be thinking a growth mindset. I've kind of heard that term before. What exactly is that? And that's exactly what I'm going to explain straight away here. Because as I said, it's one of the most important factors in self-improvement. With my pursuit of constant improvement, it's one of the first things that I came across was this idea of a growth mindset. Now, first of all, a mindset you can think of as a way you see the world. Like somebody could have a more negative mindset, somebody could have a more positive mindset, some could be overly optimistic, some more pessimistic, all these different things. We all see the world in a different way. Some people, if you think of like Tony Robbins, if you don't know who he is, he's a super kind of positive guy, very self-improvement based guy. Some people love him, some people hate him. Okay, but the point of it is he has what a lot of people would call a growth mindset. Now, a lot of people would look at him and think he's crazy. Okay, and some people would look at him and think, oh my God, that's exactly what I want to be like. So everybody is going to see the world for a different way. Your version of growth is going to be slightly different from others, but I'm going to explain what a growth mindset actually means, because there's a woman, Carol Dweck, who wrote about this in her book Mindset. And again, it's really going to be a lot of the basis for today's episode, and how you can take that view of a more growth mindset so you can look at the world through a lens of improvement to help you then improve further. Because what we often find is people are too negative, so they then can't actually improve because they're so pessimistic, they're so close-minded. So anything that they intake that's to do with improvement, they're not going to listen to anyway. But we are going to change that from here. So a growth mindset is the belief that you can develop your skills and talents through hard work, the right strategies, and guidance from others. Because what a lot of people believe is you're born into this world with a set mindset, set ideas, and that you can't change them. But the brain is very, I suppose, malleable would be the word. You can change the way you think. It definitely becomes harder as we are adults. In fact, a really good example is if you think of a child believes everything, right? They're very gullible, they believe everything, they can believe they can be anything and everything like that, which to an extent, obviously we can't do that in the world because you would be misled. Again, if you're too gullible, people would take advantage of that. But one thing they do have, children, is this unbelievable ability to be inspired and to be motivated, which a lot of people find in their passion. So things that people are very passionate about in their childhood tends to re-spark inspiration and motivation later on in life. Because as I said, as we become adults, we tend to become more close-minded. We have set beliefs that we've built up through our experiences in life. But with a growth mindset, there are things that we can do to then look at the world through, as I said, that lens of improvement. From there, we can become more open-minded and basically not be the opposite of growth-minded, which would be a fixed mindset. A mindset that doesn't change. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to explain a little bit later in this podcast what a fixed mindset would be. You might find you have some of those traits because nobody is just totally growth minded. Everybody has negative traits or fixed traits. Everybody has a bit of both. Nobody is just one or the other from there. We just want to be more growth focused than obviously fixed from there. Now, as I said, we're all kind of born with a mindset as such, a slightly more positive mindset. In fact, there's a quote from the book that says, talent isn't passed down in the genetics, it's passed down in the mindset. Now, the reason I want to say that quote is because with our mindset, it isn't purely genetic. You're not born into thinking a certain way. It can be changed. And a lot of people think a certain way through, again, what they experience and through obviously their parents and what they've taught them and everything like that. Now, what we want is a growth mindset to match our achievements. So you think of a really good example I like is Michael Jordan, right? The guy had this impeccable mindset when it came to competition. Like, he was undeniable. He was relentless, his mindset, and it matched his accomplishments. It wasn't delusion. It was just he had this attitude that he could do these things. And what a powerful position that would be if you can go through life and you can genuinely believe in what you're doing. Because with a growth mindset, we should really get to the point where we're focused on what we think of ourselves. Like, if we believe something, we'll go and pursue it. We're not focused on other people's approval. We don't seek other people's approval and say, oh, is this the right thing to do? Is it not? If you have a growth mindset and you're confident in it, you can follow things with conviction, your ideas and your thoughts and things like that. And you can become like those people, like your Michael Jordans, your Tiger Woods, your Ronaldos, these type of people that have these relentless mindsets. And of course, they achieve so much of it because of that. You don't see Ronaldo sitting there saying like, oh, you know, if I might be able to win it or whatever. Listen, he might win it, he might not. But the point is that he genuinely believes that he's going to do it. And that is what a growth mindset can help you do. It can help you bring true belief and conviction in your ideas so you can achieve more in life. It doesn't need to be to the extent of your Ronaldos and your Michael Jordans, but in terms of what you want in life, we need belief. And that can come through a growth mindset from here. Now, the reason why a growth mindset is so important and the reason it's improved my life so much is because it helps you be more optimistic. It helps you deal with hardship because it helps you realize what life is really like, that it can be shit, that there can be hardships, that there can be things in your path, blockers, all these things. But a growth mindset helps you overcome that. Whereas a fixed mindset would keep you, you'd be stuck in the negativity of life and everything like that. You'd be closed off to growth, to improvement. Of course, that's the exact opposite of what we want. We want to be open to new ideas that are going to help us become better, which is what a growth mindset will do from here. And in my opinion, listen, we all have a very short time to live on this earth. As long as it may seem at times it will be short. So why not make it as good as possible? Why not try to become the best person that you can be? Again, sounds cringy, sounds like your typical self-improvement thing. Become the version that you want to be. But why not, right? Why sit around and waste that, any potential that you have? So when it comes to creating a growth mindset, I'm going to be taking two things from here. I'm going to be taking things that in the book Mindset Carol Dweck speaks about, and also from my experience, what I've come across, because I was in a position where like most people, didn't have a growth mindset, didn't come from a very overly ambitious family, didn't have overly ambitious friends and stuff like that, which is fine. It's how most of the world is right now. However, what I started to do was create, like, listen to content, and I was inspired by others. I started to find things from others that then inspired me to become more and do all these things that open my mind. So I'm going to talk about the biggest things that I learned, which then allowed me to open my mind to growth, to improvement, and to stop me being quite as fixed on set things, which again allowed me to achieve more. Like, again, I'm not claiming to be somebody that's mega successful, but I do things that I want to do. Like, I start a podcast, I start a business, I build a physique, I pursue things because I want to do it. Regardless of the end result, a growth mindset will allow you to do it, and it will allow you to pursue it, so you're going to get the best chance of getting good results because you're going to be consistent with it from there. Now, the very first thing that I kind of learned was about stop seeking approval, because what tends to, and I found this a lot, particularly in the past year or two, that when you find people that are constantly looking for approval, it tends to come because they have a low opinion of themselves, low self-esteem, so they seek it from others. They think, oh, what do you think about this? Or what, like, for example, I have a friend who will always show me things before he does them. Oh, what do you think about this car? Oh, what do you think about this girl? What do you think about this job and all this? I'm like, mate, I don't really care. If you like it, go ahead, you do it. Do you know what I mean? And it comes from an essence of insecurity and things like that. Now, is it as easy as just saying, nope, I'm not going to seek approval now? Of course it's not. However, it is a good mindset to get yourself in that, right, I'm going to start doing more things without the approval of others. I'm going to try more. Because the more things you try, the more things you experience, the more learnings you'll get, whether they go well or they go bad. You'll start to learn from that. And that can only happen when you stop seeking approval from others from there. Because see, the reality of it is, few people want to see us succeed. Like, people really don't care that much about you. So we need to open our eyes to that and focus almost on ourselves. I mentioned this before, and somebody really, like, there was somebody I was speaking to about it, and they didn't really like it in the sense of, with my own pursuit, I am quite almost self-obsessed in it. I am very focused on it. Self-obsessed is maybe not the right word. That's what they tended to think. It was like, oh, you're obsessed with yourself. I'm like, well, yes, I'm very focused on where I want to be, what I'm doing and everything like that, because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel purpose-driven and all of these things. Because when you aren't obsessed within yourself and your own journey, you start to focus on others. You look for approval, you look at what others are doing. And again, that's not a growth mindset. That keeps you fixed in what you're doing right now. To try more things, you have to be obviously focusing on your own mission, your own pursuit from there. And again, you will start doing that when you stop seeking approval from other types of people. So that was one of the first things I started to do, because again, people really don't want you to succeed that much, and it's the harsh reality of things. Now, another thing that I done was I committed to continuous learning. I was very shit at school. I wasn't clever, never have been clever, still not clever now. However, what I do have is a lot of kind of purpose in my learning. I learn all the time. I'm always either reading, or I'm listening to audiobooks, or I'm trying new things, or I'm consuming content, I'm taking notes on content. And I feel like that's really helped me push forward with this growth mindset. It's helped me grow and improve, because I've started to realize what the world is actually like. And it's like traveling and getting different experiences. The more you learn, the more able you are to make different decisions. Because if you stay within the same sphere of life and you stay around the same people, you don't try to consume other content and things like that, you'll stay with that same fixed mindset. Whereas you can learn from others, you can take the best from the best minds in the world. And there's a quote I absolutely love from Socrates, which really hit home. 3 years ago, I put this on my wall. I had this board, I put this on my wall, and I absolutely love it. And he said, employ your time in improving yourself by reading other men's writings, so that you gain easily what others laboured hard for. And what he's saying there is, people throughout life, there's people in the past hundreds and thousands of years who have laboured very hard to find out certain things. You can read that in a book. You can watch that in a video. Now again, it's not the same as experiencing it, but it's a very valuable thing to learn. Like, you can learn about things that people have learned about hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. So that's one of the things that I took from there. And it also helps open your eyes to what is actually possible and what you can actually learn. Because people tend to think they know all. If they've, I don't know, been in the same job for a few years, they've been around the same friends, they know everything, they know everything. And I've got a quote here from Thomas Jefferson. He says, he who knows best knows how, sorry, I'll say it again. So, he who knows best knows how little he knows. And it sounds like a bit of a kind of word fuck there, but basically what he's saying is, like, the people that really know the most understand that they know nothing. Like, literally nothing. There is so much to learn out there. And that's what a growth mindset is. It's realizing there is so much that you can learn, so much that you can do to grow and improve. Whereas a fixed mindset would be like, oh, well, I know everything already, or I can't improve anymore because of X, Y, and Z. So again, that just gives us an open mind. Continuous learning opens our mind to possibilities. And that's one of the biggest things that I took from that. Now, the next thing, mega important in self-improvement as a whole, is seeing failure as inevitable. It's not quitting. Like, failure is going to happen. You're going to fail at loads of different things. You're going to fail with different workouts. You're going to fail with different nutritional things. You're going to fail with jobs, with relationships. There's going to be failure all the time in life. Like, all the time you're going to fail with things. You're going to try new things. You're going to fail. However, if you're the type of person who sees that as a big negative and you stop at it, then you're not going to progress further. It's like, I've got another thing. I've got two quotes here from mega successful people, which will help bring that into the kind of the light from there. So Bill Gates, he says, it's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Like, that's where you get a lot from. You learn a lot from your failures. You're like, oh, why did I fuck up? Oh, because of this, because of that. So I've mentioned this before. To truly understand something, you have to first experience it. And you experience a lot through failure. So then that's where you really start to understand it. You're like, right, that's how that works. And again, that's what a growth mindset would do. It would take failures. Like, I'm going to learn from this. What did I learn from failing? And how do I not do that again? What do I take from that to help me grow and improve from there? Now, the next quote is from Michael Jordan. And again, we look at him like super relentless guy. Guys went, oh, he's the best basketball player ever and stuff, which arguably he was. But what he said was this: I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And what he's saying there is, nobody goes through life without failing. Like, for example, you hit a shot that goes wrong. Okay, what can I do to get better next time? Everybody fails. The very best fail. Bill Gates has failed. Michael Jordan has failed. You will fail. I will fail. Everybody will fail. But again, a growth mindset will help you look at that differently. It'll help you look at that, take the lessons, and then push forward from there. So don't be scared of failing. Don't be scared of trying new things, because that's where the most growth, that's where the most improvement happens from there. It is a necessary part of growth and improvement. Now, what I'm going to explain is the fixed mindset. So these are traits you may have. Some of them I have definitely either had or still have. And there's things that we can work on trying to remove, because to remove something, you first have to realize it's there. You have to realize there's a problem before you can change it. Now, this is some of the characteristics of a fixed mindset. So the complete opposite to a growth mindset. Again, growth mindset is going to help you improve in life. It's going to help you push forward. It's going to make you a more positive, more optimistic person. In my opinion, a much more happy person throughout life. And a fixed obviously is the exact opposite of that. And these are the traits of a fixed mindset. The fixed mindset, people basically, you only believe that certain people can succeed. You think like, oh no, I can't do that. It's only for certain people because of whatever. Not true. That can change. You would avoid challenge. You'd be unable to handle criticism. You'd be very close-minded. You would never change your mind. And they never do new things because they're scared of failure. So you think of all these traits. What person do you know that has all of those traits that has an optimistic and growth-focused mindset? The answer is zero. So again, these are things that we can take to avoid, because in life it's really important not just to strive for these things that we want to be, but it can be a really powerful driver of what to avoid. It's one thing I've taken on recently. It's like, what can I not do more than what can I do? What can I add in? What can I improve upon? What can I focus on? What can I focus on not being? I spoke about this in one of our last episodes about this idea I have in my head of a certain type of person that I felt like I could have became. Now I focus on that person. I think, right, if I do continue doing these actions, I'll start to become that person I don't want to be. So again, it's the same. That's what you can look at the traits of a fixed mindset person and think, right, I'm going to avoid those traits because I don't want to become that type of person. I want to be a person that's focused on growth, focused on improvement, and gets the most from life. Now, some things that you can take from today to start becoming that more growth-focused person. Again, it doesn't happen overnight, but these are things that you can start to do to become more optimistic, more open to growth, more open to improvement, as you can do more. Like literally see the things as like, right, I'm going to do more, I'm going to fail more. This is a big thing I'm taking into next year with relation to business. I've always been really scared of failing because I have this like built-in thing like, oh, you can't fail with that because then X, Y, and Z will happen after. Truth is, as I just said there, I'm my own worst critic. It's like failure is where you're going to learn the most. So try and fail fast, try and fail as much as you can. That's one thing that I'm going to be doing a lot this year, hopefully. Again, with the kind of change in mindset, you will start to become happier. You will start to become less insecure, as we spoke about with the very first example from there. And you can do this by, here's a few things from here. So stop seeking approval, focus inward, as I spoke about, like that self-obsession idea. And again, it doesn't mean it has to be your only focus in life, but do become obsessed with your own path, your own improvement. Like you came into this life yourself, focus on your improvement. Of course, you're going to live with others and you're going to help others and they're going to be people that are important to you, but you want to be focused on your own improvement because it helps everybody else around you. As we said, accept failure as inevitable, continue to learn, focus on learning, focus on improvement. If you found through this episode that you have fallen into that camp of a more fixed mindset, it's probably because you've stopped learning. And when people leave school, they stop learning, they stop applying things. So it means they stop failing and inevitably they stop growing, they stop improving. So that can be something you can action straight away is how can I continue to learn? Whether it's podcasts, books, what can you apply from those things in life to do more of that? And the other one is just experience more. Again, it relates to all of them. Try experience more, try to do more. That's why I've done this all year. I've tried to do more things by myself. I've tried to go more places, tried to do things I wouldn't necessarily like to do normally. Try to get uncomfortable. That's how I've started to focus more on that growth mindset rather than that fixed mindset, which keeps you in one position. So again, growth mindset takes you places, fixed mindset keeps you where you are now, which for most people isn't where they want to end up from there. Now, the last bit for today is a quote, which is probably one of the most used self-improvement quotes ever. It's almost a ridiculed quote. It's a quote that one of the first quotes I learned, which if you're early in your self-improvement journey, it can be quite profound. But I'm going to explain my reasoning behind this because I really do like the quote. It was something I repeated for almost a year to myself. Now, again, repeating to yourself isn't going to do much without action, but I believe this quote helped me to take action and change things. It's from Napoleon Hill, who's the author of a book called Think and Grow Rich, which is one of the first books that I read to do with self-improvement. And he says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Now, let me break that down for you. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Okay, so first you have to conceive something. People with a fixed mindset, they don't conceive these ideas of growth and improvement. They don't conceive these ideas of, oh, I'm going to try this to get better. I'm going to do this. This will help me push towards my goals. They don't have these ideas in their head. Okay, so by becoming that more kind of growth mindset, you'll start to conceive these type of ideas. When you start to believe them and have conviction in your ideas, that's when you start to achieve them. Think of the guys I listed before, like your Michael Jordans, Tiger Woods, all these people. Like they genuinely, if they conceive an idea, they genuinely believe it, and then they do go and achieve it because they action it. But that only comes through belief. So I believe that they are all part and parcel. It comes one after the other. You have to conceive a thought. You have to believe that you can actually do it, which comes through a growth mindset. And then you have to action it, which is when you achieve it from there. So again, you don't take my word for it. You take any of their word for it. Take Napoleon Hill's word for it. And then you can push on with that from there. As ever, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've took something from it. I hope you, whether it's something that you can apply or whether it's inspired a thought in your own head that you can then push forward with, I hope it's done one of them. As ever, if you could, please, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could rate the podcast if you're listening on Spotify, or subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And again, as ever, as I always leave you, I hope you took something from this episode, and I hope you continue to pursue constant improvement. Thank you for listening.